Now, when we started out, we had one goal, and that was to bridge the generational wealth gap through real estate. And that's caused us to have to change the face of real estate, from a sales role to an advisor role. So we focus on relationships and not transactions. In order to do that, we offer both brokerage and planning services. That way we can transform the communities that we live, work, and play in, one relationship at a time. Titus, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How you doing?
How's it going, man? Good deal, good deal. So, I thought I lost you there for a second, man.
Oh, no.
Okay, glad you can make some time. So, guys, welcome to Real Estate 101. It's been a while since we checked in with you. Let me try to get this going on another page real quick. See if we can get like a watch party going here.
All right.
Facebook. I want as many folks to get in as possible. Let's see this here. Okay, here we go. All right. So I'm posted there. I'm gonna post that there, and I'm gonna leave that there, and we'll get into things. So first off, you are the first guest on this style. I haven't done this style of Real Estate 101. Back before COVID, we did this in the classroom. So I would have probably reached out to you to see if you can put a presentation or something like that together and just teach people. I'm all about having warm bodies in the room, but now that we can't do that, I had to, adapt. And so this is our first time doing this live. And I felt like one of these first topics should have been around partnerships. We've been talking a lot lately around gentrification is a hot topic, right? Mm-hmm. So I felt like, who can I get on here to talk to people about the best way to think about structuring real estate deals, the best way to start thinking about partnerships, because in terms of trying to scale in real estate or trying to really capitalize on the deals that you're out there finding, this is probably like your best bet, right? If you're low on capital, right? If you don't have a ton of capital, but you're out, you're beating on doors and you're getting these good deals, why give them away? Right? If we're talking about building wealth, why give them away? And so I feel like you are one of those keys that I always call and like to pick your brain and help me think through some things. So I feel like let's allow some other folks to hear what some of this information is like, maybe to help change their perspective on giving away that wealth. So I got some questions here for you, but I want you, if you can, Titus, I know you are in the real estate arena. You practice real estate law. You're a principal at the Titus law firm, but you have some other areas you practice, man. If you could, give us a little bit of background about yourself.
Okay. Well, as far as my practice goes, I specialize in business and real estate matters. I do litigation, but usually civil litigation in the areas of business and real estate, not including the other areas, which I'll get to. And so in real estate, I do a lot of litigation concerning most of my civil litigation is partition, quiet title, and adverse possession. And generally, when you find a piece of land and you are trying to figure out title issues about who owns what, that's quiet title, assuming you already have a stake in the land in some form or fashion, which can be as simple as just a contract on the land. Then there's adverse possession, which is a piece of land that doesn't belong to you at all. You have no stake in the land, but then you're trying to take it because under Texas law, you've put quite a bit of resources and time into maintaining that land, paying taxes and so on. And then last but not least, there's partition, which is when you own it with other folks, but you're trying to force them to buy your share of the land, or force them to sell their share of the land to you. So that, in conjunction with probate and determination of heirship, are some of the main tools that you use in order to what we call clear title. So somebody can take that title.
And so look, so I want to back up a second. I want to take a step back for 1 second, because you're saying that's how we clear title. So that's assuming that I have a deal. I found a deal. I got it for a good price, all this kind of stuff like that, right? And now typically, if I'm a real estate agent, I may be trying to list it. Or if I'm a wholesaler, I'm trying to find an end buyer so I can, assign my contract over. But, we want folks to start holding on to these deals and start partnering. And so start partnering and structuring deals to be able to allow more people to jump in so you can do more deals, right? Now, you're talking about how to take title. When I have those cloudy titles like that, like what, in terms of partnership, like how does that affect what I'm thinking about in terms of partnering?
So it's important partnership wise because you won't be able to get any sort of debt on a piece of property without title being clear. And then if you want investors, whether they're debt or equity, they're probably not going to want to give you any money for debt or equity if they don't see clear title as well. And then the biggest piece is when a piece of property exchanges hands in Texas, if you're at all serious about what you're doing, you need to have title insurance, right? And title insurance is not going to give you a policy. No title company is going to give you a policy unless you have clear title. So even when you deal with someone to, make a joint venture, you syndicate a deal, you need to have clear title at the end of the day, one way or another.
Okay. So let's say this then. Let's not get too much into title, like clearing title and things like that. Let's just say we know that's a process. That's something that I have to get through in order to do something. But I have this contract, right? Or I have this opportunity in front of me. What should I be thinking about in terms of like legal structure or terms? Are there any specific things, like from a legal standpoint, that I should be thinking about? Like what kind of structures, for instance, like can I actually take title in trying to partner with people? Like if I'm Jason Hyman, hey, I've got this deal. Hey, Joe Blow, how do I get them? What do I need to arrange? What does that arrangement look like?
Okay. So the first thing to be aware of is you can take title in any entity. You can take title as your own person, multiple people, an entity, whether it's a nonprofit, whether it's a LLC, an LP, a corporation. You can take title in any of those in conjunction with other entities and other individuals. So there's a great amount of flexibility on who you can name on a deed. You can even put retirement accounts, IRA accounts. Okay.
And so what is there any specific legal structure that you, I guess, recommend? Like if I'm looking to, if that's my business model, I'm going to find deals. I'm good at finding deals. And when I find them, I want to partner with people that can help me bring them home and start cash flowing or getting the equity out of them. Like, is there any specific structure you feel like should favor one versus the other?
So let me say everything that I've said before and everything I'm going to say is all an opinion. And
Yeah,
this is
I got you. I got you. We just having a discussion. We just a discussion.
this
I
is not
appreciate
to
it.
read. I have to say those words, right? So
If you want expert opinion, you guys, you got to book some time with Titus. So if you got some questions, you might want to comment right now. Okay.
people
But
can
go ahead.
you can see comments. Let's see. Oh, I can't see them. You can see them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. All right. So the most basic way to do something is an LLC, right? Um, Now there are. I'm not going to get into the rules of how is something selling a security or not selling a security, but the basic idea is you want to have an LLC and you want to have it documented who has ownership, what type of ownership, all that type of jazz, right? Now it's very important that they're partners too, meaning that they share liability with you, right? Because if they have no control, if they have no power, such as a limited partner in a limited partnership, well, then you're selling a security. So there's a whole lot more detail that goes into
So
that.
but let's just say I'm thinking about some of the guys I've talked to sometime. They're like, look, Jason, I'm doing this to raise money, or I'm trying to get in this so I can get some capital. So essentially, like, well, I don't have much money, right, and so I want to put my money into the right places, and
So
so
99% of the time, it's going to be an LLC.
is LLC. So, okay, so I got this LLC that I put together. Are you saying that I should spend a little money up front if I'm going to do this and go ahead and get that LLC out of the way, or should I be waiting until I get a deal in front of me and figuring out what that looks like with my attorney and my potential partner?
Well, if you already know who you're going to partner with and it's just going to be them, well, then, sure, you can go ahead and get it done. It can get done fairly quickly, anyways. But if you're going to find a deal and you don't know who you might end up dealing with, you don't know if it's going to be the landowner or, investor one, two, or three, then in that case, you should wait. You should wait until you find a deal and you got your hooks in it, you got it under contract, you know that you're reasonably certain you're going to do this deal. Then you go on ahead and you find yourself whoever you're going to partner with. Then you come to Titus. You can come to Titus before just to get the framework worked out. So then it takes me less time to turn it around when the time comes. Like say, okay, Jason's the investor. All right, so boom. Now I can put that together. The LLC is set up, and that's just to hold title. That LLC is going to hold title, and y'all are going to own the LLC. But then on the backside, paperwork to make sure that there's a contract between the parties, and you have everything appropriately lined up, depending on if it's debt or equity.
Okay. So let me ask you then, if that's the case. So I've got this LLC. It sounds pretty straightforward so far, right? You're like, I got this LLC and I found somebody who's willing to partner with me so we can hold on to this really juicy deal that we have. And, they're open to working with me, but now I'm trying to think of how the heck do I work with them? I've never done this before, or, I've done real estate in other capacities, other ways, but I haven't partnered with anybody before. So, what kind of terms should I be thinking about before I come sit down with you? Because you cost, right? Time is money. And I want to come and communicate what I have going on very clear, very succinct to you so I can get in and get out of your office. Okay. So what should I be thinking about? What kind of clauses and terms should I be thinking about to either protect myself or things that I need to know about because I might be asked those questions?
Okay. All right. So the first thing to think about is who's going to be named in the operating agreement and why. Meaning, who are the members, the managers, who are the people who they can go to court and say, look, I have this contract, this operating agreement. I'm part of this entity. I own a piece of that land through buying through this, right? And then the question is why? Why are they one of those individuals? What what share of it that they going to have, and what share is directly related to A, how much work they're going to put in, and B, how much money they're going to put in, right? And it always comes down to that. Unless you have other special considerations, it's always work and money. Then you need to figure out what exactly who's going to have work. I mean, do the work. Some people, they say, hey, I'm just putting in my money. I don't want to do anything, right?
Okay.
Other people, they say, hey, I'll do all the work. Sometimes you got to share the work.
So I need to know what I need. It sounds like what you're saying. It sounds like I could be as creative as I want to be.
Be creative as you want to be, right?
I can be as creative as I want to be, but like, if we were to categorize, then I heard you say a couple of things. If we were to categorize, what would you categorize that as? I feel like I heard what share and ownership was one thing that I need to be thinking about, right?
Yeah. Who's gonna own a piece of this entity or the land? How much are they gonna put in? What work are they gonna do? So those are basic questions.
But what are the responsibilities?
Exactly, responsibilities. Okay. Right.
So kind of really then shares, what ownership split, and what responsibility. Those are sound like my two main points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair enough?
Right. Those are. I mean, there's other things to consider, but that's just the starting. That's the tip of the iceberg.
Okay.
Who's going to put in what time? Who's going to put in what money? And then next question is ownership. Who has what percentages, right? And then, are you going to separate control and profit? Let me see like this.
Can you touch on that real quick for a second?
So most people think that, if I've got control, if I've got equity, right, then that means this is also the profit split. And that's not always the case. You can have control or you can have control separated when it comes to your equity, right? Equity concerns control and overall ownership, but how you distribute money, how you distribute profits and losses can be separated. What that means is you and I, Jason, we can have ownership in a property. I can own 10%. You can own 90%. You can have 90% of the control. I can have 10% of the control, okay, right? But we decide to split profits 50-50 okay, for whatever reason, right? We put it in the paperwork. Jason's going to get 50% profits and losses. Titus is going to get 50% profits and losses, right? So the reason why that's important is because, say, for instance, you bring less to the table, right? But it's your deal. And you want to protect yourself that you never get ejected from your deal.
So I want if it's my deal, basically saying if I brought the deal, having the deal is an important piece of the puzzle. So I can carve out some equity for myself because of that. And I should.
Correct. Especially if this is some sort of a buy and hold or build and hold, right? You don't want to be bullied out of your own LLC. Okay. Right? Which isn't a common thing, but is very much possible. So if we say, hey, Jason owns 51% of it, or better yet, let's say even if Jason owned 25% of it, but we said that to vote Jason out, Jason needs to have 76%, or people need to vote 76% to get him out. Well, Jason owns 25%, so you need to vote yourself out.
Right, that'll never happen.
Yeah, exactly.
It up. Right, it'll never happen.
So it's very important to have it set up in a way where you, the person who brought the deal, no matter if you've got deep pockets or not, you make it extremely hard for other people to eject you unless it's what they call for cause, but we don't need to go into that.
So some of the creativeness that you're talking about sounds like, man, I mean, unless I'm experienced, it kind of sounds like it helps to have an attorney on your team to kind of troubleshoot some of those gaps, so I'm not voted out.
So I was at an event once, a real estate event, and all the vendors got given a couple of minutes to speak. And I said at that time something I think kind of resonated with people about the usefulness of an attorney when you're in real estate. I'll repeat the same thing. if you're into real estate, really into real estate, you you can do 9 deals without an attorney and everything go just fine. You're like, why should I spend the $600 to $3,000 or whatever it is, depending on what you need from the attorney? Why should I spend that money on an attorney every single deal, right? But there's that 10th deal that goes sideways.
Yeah, tank the other 7, just tank the other 9.
All the profits from your first 9, right? And so when people think about it like that, then they start to realize, okay, lawyers are a little bit like insurance. Sure, there's sometimes you do proactive things that helps you make money, such as quiet title. But assuming there's no title issues, right? You can go straight to the deal and make the money. The reason why you want an attorney is to make sure that on the back end you don't get slapped and now you're losing out on money.
So you kind of touched on like, okay, basically I can hold title in LLC. So if I'm out and I'm busting chops and I'm finding deals, I'm finding properties that might be good buys, and every now and then I want to keep one. I want to sell them all off. I want to keep a couple here and there, keep it in the fam. Okay. Right. I can have my LLC. I can partner with people. I think the gem you gave us is that I can actually take and own some equity just because I have this deal in my hand and still get some cash flow. Like I can negotiate that.
Right.
Okay? And I think that's powerful because I don't know if a lot of guys notice they get in these deals and they're so focused on making the quick 10 grand or 20 grand or whatever quick check. And it's so short lived because some of you might not get another check like that for months. And so it's spent on the kids, it's spent on old bills and all that kind of stuff, right? Yep. So you want something that you can hold on to, especially in times like this at COVID, having something that you can tap into for some cash is always really good on the real estate. And so what I want to ask going from that then is, since I can do that, you're saying I can do that and I can structure that. What is it that, are there any kind of like norms that I should know about? Like if I have a deal, is it typical 30% equity? Should I be looking at like, what's some good measures that I should be thinking about every time?
So it's a little counterintuitive, but in a way, those things I'm not going to say that they don't matter. They don't matter unless anything goes wrong, right? And in the beginning, no one thinks that something is going to go wrong. It's a honeymoon, right? So what really matters on the front end is who gets what money-wise. What do I get, right? Your investor, the number one thing that they're going to care about is their return. How much money and how much time for me to get that return, and how much work do I have to put in? You, the person who found the deal, you're not going to want to do the deal unless you make something, right? Why would you put in all that work but you don't get anything out of it? So the number one thing to figure out is, what do the numbers look like and what do I get out of it? And what can I use to entice somebody else to put in the money that I don't have or that I don't want to put in, right?
So like to entice somebody to get in, just kind of like I'm going to do the leg work. Like me and my team are going to do the rehab and put up the money or the sweat equity for the rehab, but we need you to help us acquire the property. And, for that, we're going to have we're going to split some of the money.
Right. Exactly.
That's right. The simplest form.
Simple. Yeah.
Okay. So let me kind of back up real quick. You said I can take title just as myself.
Yep.
So like, does that mean I can start out taking title as Jason Hyman and somebody else taking title, and later on change to an LLC after I make a little money and I can come sit down? Can I always update that? Or
Yep, you can always update that. Well, let me not, you can update something, but that's different than actually making a new deed. But you can always grant your interest to a new entity. So Jason Hyman could own it and then decide later on that he's going to bring on partners or sell it or whatever he's going to do, and then create another deed where Jason Hyman is giving his interest to said entity or other persons.
Okay. So what about in the sense of then can I protect myself in terms of like, let's say I get in the deal and I find a partner and they say, hey, we'll bust everything down 50-50. Let's do it all 50-50. That's real simple, right? Mm-hmm. If that's the case, what can I do to protect myself in terms of selling off his portion? Like he sells it to another partner, he sells it to someone that just isn't, we don't see eye to eye. We won't see eye to eye. You know, how do I protect myself in those instances so I don't get a bad partner or something?
So first, let me say that you don't have to worry about that too much because it's rare that someone will sell a fractional interest, or rather that somebody else would want to buy a fractional interest in a property, right? But if it does happen, or if you find yourself in a situation where you're just disagreeing with somebody, if you're at the front end of this deal and you're structuring terms, then you want to make sure that you have a right of first refusal. Now, you can't sell anything to anybody until you give me a chance to buy it.
So that's another gem right there. Say that again.
Right of first refusal.
A right of first refusal.
Correct.
So that's another gem I need to put in my back pocket. I don't want you to sell off your fractional interest. So I need a right of first refusal.
Yep.
All right. That sound bad. That's tongue twist coming out, so I can understand it on paper. Okay.
On paper.
So listen, now we talked about partnering and things like that. And one of the reasons why we want to talk about partnering is because of something I've been talking to you about, which is we really been talking a lot lately about creating some type of fund to raise dollars for projects. And so I want everybody out there, if you're looking, go to @DT3M Fund on Instagram or on Facebook and follow us, right? What we'll do is, I think what I'm going to try to do is put a case study together, Titus. Okay. Today we just talked a real surface level about partnerships, but I think I want to do a case study and we'll put it out on the whiteboard or something like that. And we'll put that video on the DT3M Fund, the Do the Things That Matter campaign page. Okay. Just to give people a little bit more in depth. So if you have some time, chime in and comment. I'll tag you in that particular post so you can chime in and comment. People can ask questions and all that good stuff. But before I let you go, I don't like to keep people too long. We try to keep this about 30 minutes tops. So before I let you go, I have at the Titus Law Firm here. Can you let people know how they can reach you real quick?
Yeah, you can reach the Titus Law Firm through Facebook, Instagram, and then also I don't have my number memorized. My office number is 832-371-6339. That office number again is 832-371-6339. And then, of course, TitusLawFirm.com. So you got multiple ways to get at me.
And so I got about another minute or so before we get out of here. Mm-hmm. I want to know if you had to say, if I'm looking to partner, whether I'm experienced or beginner, I'm out finding deals and I'm looking to stay in these deals because that's ideal. We want to stay in these deals. I'm telling all you guys out there, you want to stay in these deals as much as you can. Okay, hold on to the property as much as you can. What three things, whether we talk about it today or not, would you leave us with?
The three things that I would leave you with. The first thing that everyone cares about is the money. Who gets what and what's the time frame? That's the first thing. The second thing is
the time frame. So I don't have to give these people their money right away, you're saying?
Correct, depending on if it's debt or equity, right?
Okay, go ahead. Continue. I hope folks know. Just come another little gem right there. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The second thing is debt or equity. Does it make more sense to try and get people to give you money and you give them debt, meaning that you just pay them back with a flat rate of return on a certain timeline? Or do they actually own equity? They have ownership in the property. And so all the profits that are made, A, through cash flow month to month, and B, through the sale event, whenever you eventually sell it, do they get money on that end of it, right? Or both, some sort of a flat return mixed with equity. That's the second thing, debt, equity, or both. The third thing, I would say that if you figure out the first two, like my third point is, if you figure out the first two and it's a good deal, it should, it won't always, because it depends on who you know and who you can get in front of, but it should sell itself. All the legal pieces, a lawyer can handle that for you. Any good lawyer. Of course, I'd like for you to come to me, but any good lawyer can handle that. So don't worry too much about it, because a lawyer will make sure you're all buttoned up the way that you should be. Just make sure you actually use a lawyer, because now you're dealing with other people, other people's money, other people's interests, and things can go sideways very, very quickly.
So let me ask you, do I'm gonna put you on the spot. I hope I don't put you on the spot too hard. Do lawyers sometimes get in deals?
Oh yeah, all the time. In fact,
So if I got a really sweet deal, and like I say, I'm just starting out and I don't have, I can't pay the retainer right now. Can I give up some of that to my attorney or to other professionals that I may need to work with?
yes, that goes for anybody who's willing to wheel and deal. It could be the lawyers, it could be the architects, the contractors, anybody.
Good deal. Okay. Well, as I think I think I think you left people with some good information, definitely some gems. I hope some folks are taking notes. Because I'm gonna take this video down off of Facebook after it. Right, y'all got to tune in and watch. And we had some people tuning in. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you go and follow us at Not Just an Agent HTX. We're on LinkedIn. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Wherever you are, that's where we are, and that's where we want to be. And we're always going to represent Third Ward all the way. So if you can, go and follow at Live Work Play Third Ward. That's LWP Third Ward on Instagram or Facebook. We're trying to move a lot of young professionals to this area. It's a very attractive area. Would you say, Titus?
I'm definitely on board with that statement.
Okay, so go and follow that page. We're having like different giveaways. We're telling different history about the area, and here real soon we have a surprise for folks to help them buy property in this area. So they don't want to miss out on that. But Titus, once again, thank you for checking in with us, man. I won't hold you up any longer. Hey, you guys, if y'all have any questions for myself or Titus regarding real estate partnerships, deal structuring, if you have something on your desk right now that you're working, make sure to hit us in the comments, or I think tag Titus in the caption. Message them. Okay, we're here for business. We're here to answer questions. We're here to help you. So, all right, guys, tune in next time. I'll see y'all later.
All right.